Hello YouTube, welcome back to COVID-19 Talking Points, episode 5. In the last video, I kind of touched a little bit on portion sizing and stuff like that. What I want to do is focus on mode of transmission for this video. I think I said I'd do something else, but I really want to focus mode of transmission because we have breaking news coming from Europe about a pregnant woman who has tested positive for COVID-19 and has given birth to a COVID-19 positive baby. At this time, they are completely unsure how the baby has contracted the virus. It could be a multitude of things, up to and including pathogenic exchange between the mother and child via the placenta. Now, China in Wuhan, back in February, went and performed forced cesareans on 12 women between 36 weeks and 39 weeks to see if COVID-19 is transferable between blood exchange of mother and child. Back then, they found the results were quite promising. It does not transfer. However, the COVID-19 virus mutated after those results were dropped back in early March. The specific test from Wuhan was back on February 15th through the 20th or something like that when they were checking all that. So they're checking the babies to see if they were exposed or not. And these ones were exposed by medical workers, I think, later on. If that. No, that's completely wrong. The ones in China weren't. This woman in Italy, I think, is where it happened. Her baby was exposed. They just don't know when or how. And because it did happen after the mutated strains from the to produce COVID-19L and COVID-19S, they're extremely worried that it has mutated to become blood-borne. Now, because of this, if it is a blood-borne illness, or if it has mutated to include that, we have to remember what was specifically in the lab at Wuhan that this was housed. Now, this is entirely hypothetical, okay? This is not something I have proof. This is something I am theorizing. The viruses housed at this facility, put out by the Iranian bioweapons expert, was anthrax, tuberculosis, Spanish flu, Ebola, and Zika virus. Now, we all know what happened last year with Zika. It was something that was transmittable through mosquito bite, bug bite, blood-borne illness, and it was something that can transfer to women who were pregnant or women who eventually did get pregnant. And babies that were born had microencephaly. Some of them were even born completely sterile. They were unable to have kids. I highly doubt they took and extrapolated that protein from Zika to allow the bloodborne exchange and put it into COVID-19. I doubt it. So far, it's strictly mucous membrane exchange, eyes, nose, and mouth. And of course, sexually transmitted, because that is a mucous membrane. The vaginal canal, and of course, various areas along the tip and shaft of the penis and stuff like that. Though we have no reported cases of that being an STD, because at that point, if you're having sex unprotected and both you or one of your partners is infected with COVID-19, anything within 4 to 6 feet of direct social contact is going to get you exposed regardless. So, it is what it is. With that being said, if you live in an area with a high population risk of exposure to mosquitoes, ticks, biting bugs, and bugs that sting, those are bloodborne pathogen carriers. And if this virus is eyes, nose, and mouth, these bugs will probably produce a mutation to target blood-infected people. And that is something you really need to look out for. And because mosquitoes target people like myself with anemia, we are mosquito magnets, as everybody calls them. I have the defective hemoglobin. So my body will naturally produce a pheromone, an odor that mosquitoes pick up on. It says, hey, we got the sweet blood over here. We got the good shit. The shit's gonna do da-da-da-da. They will come and attack me in swarms. I have used maximum straight DEEF. I have stuffed my bras and pockets with dryer sheets. I have coated myself with literal garlics and garlic oil, and I've taken garlic supplements. I've taken everything you can potentially take to repel and restrain mosquito exposure, and I will still get bit, okay? So I'm completely freaking wigging out over this. Of course, I'm trying to stay as calm as possible for your guys' sake, because this is something to keep you guys informed so you can address this in a calm, mature, and competent manner, okay? So we have that. Another point I wanted to make in this video was not just transmission, what to expect from day-to-day daily activities while martial law is completely enacted. In Spain and in Italy, we are seeing curfews. The curfews are from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., except for those who have to go to work overnight. And in extreme cases, that will be by military escort. In extreme cases. I don't think that's what's going on over there right now. I wouldn't be surprised if that is what's going on, because they are patrolling the streets with medical officials, military personnel. They're trying to really restrict the physical movement of people. Now, day-to-day activities, I'm going to break that down on what a potential schedule, what an advised schedule to live by while martial law is enacted, so you don't have any confusion. You don't have stress eating. I stress eat a lot. That's how I got so fat. You'll be able to adjust this very, very well, and you'll be able to write it out. You're going to be waking up prior to 6 a.m., maybe, depending on what's going on. If you are by yourself, what you're going to do first thing you wake up is if you haven't really done this, I'd recommend taking your weight, okay, and then take your temperature before you consume anything. The human body is naturally going to change its body temperature to accommodate the digestion of food. That's why I mentioned back in one of my past videos to feed a cold and starve a fever, because your body is going to redirect its thermic activity to the stomach to process these foods. Calories is the word calories itself is the ability to use energy, or the amount of energy the body needs for energy points to properly burn and process your food on the digestive level. So if you got something that's high in calories, your body's going to work extremely hard to process it, and it's going to expend way more energy than it needs to digest it and absorb whatever nutrients it has. So that's why they're always stressing like low-calorie diets and stuff like that, so that the body isn't working as hard to get that nutrients and all that into it. So something like, let's say, ramen noodles, I think has 250 to 350 calories. Some will have as high as 700 or 800 or 1,000 calories. That means your body is working extremely hard to process it. And it's not going to make you spike a fever. I have to disclose that. It's not going to make you spike a fever, but it will raise your body's natural temperature. And any consumption of food will do that. So take your temperature when you first wake up in the morning. Okay. And, of course, after you get your reading, make sure you keep a journal for your weight and your temperature, okay? You really need to focus on keeping track of your weight and your temperature. And then proceed to eat. Wait 4 hours after eating food for your body temperature to resume its normal state, because it will raise about 3 points. If you're like me, my natural body temperature is 95.3. It's much lower than the average person. For a multitude of reasons. Even I'm still trying to learn. I would like to say it's because of my anemia, but I digress. The average person we're finding now has a 97.9 or 97.6 natural body temperature range. That's when you're not fighting anything, you have no infections, you're completely healthy. Okay? I might have to break this video down into another part. It's getting to the 10-minute mark, but I'm going to try and cram what I can for the rest of the day-to-day expectations. This virus does target the lungs, so light-duty activities for exercise. I'd highly recommend yoga to maximize the oxygen exchange in your body. So deep breathing exercises, even if you don't have to stretch or do any of those wild poses, just kind of get your arms out, raised above your head a little bit, stretch, kind of get a little bit of blood working. You'll notice in China they'll have these clapping circles. That's just where they just kind of swing their arms in front of them and then just kind of clap in a large circular motion. That gentleish motion will actually get your heart rate up very healthily. It's low stress, low strain on the heart and lungs, and will help encourage better CO2 exchange. I'll go ahead and pick this up in another video. I'm at my limit. Shibara signing off. I'll see you again in COVID Talking Points, episode 6.